your time. So thank you guys for being on time. My name's Sandy. And I firstly want to congratulate you guys for taking control of your health for the next 8 weeks. It's a big thing to commit to an 8-week challenge. So I think it's really awesome that you guys have committed to that. So I thought I'd share a little bit about me first, so you get an understanding of who I am and where my experience comes from. So look, I have a Bachelor of Health Science, I've got a Bachelor of Education, and just over 5 years ago I was a high school teacher and I taught for 9 years. I taught at Erskine Park High, so I've always lived in this area. Sorry? Oh yeah, 34 now. So yeah, that's where I started, and this was about 6 years ago, and that was a point in my life where everything shifted. So I had a really serious health scare. I was 29 at the time, 29 at the time. I was hospitalised for 3 days, and basically they couldn't work out what was wrong with me. So I did every test under the sun, and they sent me home and they just said, hopefully it doesn't happen again. And I felt like a ticking time bomb, and I just knew I had to do something. I didn't know what that was. So for me, what that looked like was trying to lose that last 10 kilos that I could never shift. And I started working out at the gym 6 days a week. I started eating really well because that's what my degree in health science had taught me to do, and that's supposed to make you healthy. I ended up getting really run down and exhausted, and I used to come home from work and just lay on the lounge, and I didn't have energy for my 2 beautiful kids. I just was basically miserable and hangry. Has anyone ever felt hangry? That was me. So look, that was when I started getting into nutrition. So I found a nutritional program. What I do now is I coach people through a nutritional cleansing system. So I've been doing that for 4.5 years now, and how I got into that was I had a really great experience myself. So I basically wanted to lose that last 10 kilos. I started this program, and the rest is history. I lost 13 kilos in my first few months on the program and have maintained that now for over 4 years. And what I've learned about food in that time, it's been a progression, but it's been about really using food to fuel your body. I didn't realise how poor my relationship with food was back then. I was counting everything, it was stressful, I always felt, I don't know, does anyone ever feel like that? Like it's confusing, and I didn't know it was the right thing to have. So that's how I got into really looking into food and what it means. So I've coached, we've got over 5,000 people in our team now. So over the past 4.5 years, I've basically seen all types of fitness goals and health goals. So we'll have some time for question and answer at the end. So today, I suppose I want to share with you a bit about how simple it can be. You're not going to learn anything that this might seem super simple to you, but that's really how simple it needs to be for you to get results. So we'll have question and answers at the end. So the other part of the business that we do is your body scan. So a year and a bit ago, my husband and I decided that we wanted to buy one of these machines because we thought they were really interesting, and it fit in really well with what we do with nutrition coaching. So I thought I would take you guys through your scan tonight. Did everyone bring them along? Yeah, cool. So if you have any questions about them, just shout out while we're in this little piece and I can answer them for you. We're going to start right at the top. Did anyone actually get to go on the website and have a look at the video that we've got on there? Okay, so on the back of your results sheet, it has our website. And if you go on there, there's a 12-minute video that will take you through what every little number means on this scan sheet. So you can sit down and really get into the nitty-gritties of it. But I'll take you through today the most important parts for you and your challenge, I suppose, and then you can look at, in real depth if you want to go on and have a look at that video. So this part here, this muscle fat analysis, is a really important part. So you'll see it there, it has your weight, it also has your skeletal muscle mass. So skeletal muscle mass is the muscle that you can change, right? It's the stuff when you work it out, you can increase the size or decrease the size depending on diet and exercise. And then you've got your body fat mass. So it's giving you numbers in kilos. So what you'll see is when you connect the dots on your scan, so this one makes a little bit of a D shape. Okay, you may have a C shape if your muscles back here and your weight and your fat mass is out here. A lot of people are a C shape, and then you might have an I shape if you're in between. So what we're aiming for, ideally, we'd love everyone to be a D. This is my husband's scan. It makes me jealous because mine's a C.
Did the scan?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's my husband.
We noticed he looked fit.
Yes. But mine's a C, and mine's a C because My muscle mass is quite down the low end of normal, if not like right on the borderline. So I have a lot of trouble putting on muscle mass. So it doesn't always mean that you've got a lot of fat mass if your fat mass is up here. It just means that, you know, maybe the ratios just aren't right, okay? So this calculated analysis part here, I wouldn't even bother with it. BMI is there because doctors like it. We know that BMI is not that helpful, especially like if we're scanning, say, a really muscular person, like for example my husband, his BMI is quite high, but that doesn't mean that he's overweight. He just has, for his height and kilos, he's heavier because he's got lots of muscle mass. So look, doctors like it, it's on there because they like it, but we don't tend to use it because you've got this muscle fat analysis. We know exactly how much muscle and fat you've got. Same with your percentage body fat. So a lot of people freak out when they see their percentage of body fat. It's just, again, telling us as a ratio how much muscle to fat you have. So if you can put on lean muscle mass during this challenge and decrease your fat mass, that percentage will change quite quickly. If you lose body fat and lose muscle mass, you'll find that percent won't change very much. So we want to make sure that you're eating the right foods to maintain or build muscle at the same time as losing fat. And unfortunately for us women, often that's harder. It's harder for us to absorb protein and get enough protein in and eat it at those increments throughout the day. Okay, so you need to be really mindful of that. This part here is your segmental lean analysis. So it measures each segment of your body separately. Okay, so the machine scans your body, but it separates it. So it tells you how much muscle mass you've got in your left arm, in your right arm, each leg, and your trunk. So the top line in that segmental part is the amount in kilos of muscle that you've got in each section. The bottom line is a percentage. So the percentage, say 100 is average for your age, gender, and height. So we would love all of those numbers to be 100 or above. The higher the better. So if you've got more, awesome. What it also does by giving us that percentage is it allows us to see any differences that you've got, say left to right or top to bottom. We'd love you to be really in proportion the whole way through. So often, sometimes we'll see, you know, those fellas that like to do lots of chest and arms days and not much leg days, we catch them out in the segmental lean analysis. We can tell if they're skipping leg day. So you'll probably find that there is an area of your body that it's harder for you to put on muscle mass. And sometimes that's also the area where you have less fat mass as well. So it'll be interesting for you to have a look and see if they correlate on your scans. So what they say is balanced is within 6%. So if you're within 6%, like left to right and top to bottom, it's considered balanced. If there's bigger variations than that, then you may get a reading that says slightly unbalanced. So this body water analysis part here is basically how your body holds water. So if you have an injury of some type or any swelling in your body, if you're retaining fluid, that number will be higher. So ladies, especially for us, if it's that time of the month and you're bloated, that number might be higher. As I said, if you have an injury, then that number will be higher because fluid goes to the area where the injury is. But generally it's within the normal range. Where they use that is usually if someone comes out with a really high reading and they're not aware that they have an injury or inflammation in their body, that could be a sign that they need to go and get checked out by the doctor. There could be something going on. So this down here is a summary. So the next scan that you get, your next column will have your results in it for your next one, and your first one will be in that first column. But do make sure you keep this one that you've got because it won't print all of this again because that'll all be your new stuff. So we want to be able to compare that later, but it will tell you the basic summary points, okay? Up the top, you've got your in-body score. Basically, that's a score of balance in your body. We'd love everyone to be 75 and above. So 75 is your average person. 85 and above is your super fit person. We have scanned someone who was 102, so can get over 100 as well. He was super, super fit. Yeah. You have a suggestion. Please take that with a grain of salt. Some people it's really spot on, other people it wants to make you too small, so don't worry about it. You'd be much better off talking to a trainer here and getting a realistic view of say your target weight and weight control and fat control. It gives you a guide, okay? Then you've got your body balance evaluation, so it just tells you whether you're balanced upper, so left to right, lower left to right, and upper to lower. So it will tell you if there's anywhere that's out of balance. You've got your segmental fat analysis, which is the next one down. So it's telling you how much fat in kilos, again, and as a percentage. So everyone generally has more in their trunk because that includes visceral fat, which we'll go into a bit later. That's that bit dangerous fat around your organs. It tells you that percentage. So a great range to be in is 85 to 150% with your percentages. So that should be what you're aiming for in each area. Then you've got your segmental circumference. So they're measurements. So it's not the same as using a tape measure. It takes it underneath the skin, so you can't compare this to a tape measure, so don't try and do that, it won't come out right. So either just use one or the other, either use the machine or use a tape measure because they're not comparable. Then you've got your visceral fat level. Now this one's really important, and as I said, we will go through that a bit later. Ideally we want that between 1 and 9, but the lower the better. Okay? Excuse me. These research parameters are a little bit technical. The one that I want you to pay particular attention to is the basal metabolic rate. So it will give you amount of calories. Now, what we often find is when we do these scans is that people are under eating. So your basal metabolic rate is the amount of calories that your body needs at a state of rest to function throughout the day. That's without you getting up and going to work or going to the gym or doing anything in your day. So, and that's based on your muscle mass. So the more muscle you have, the higher the basal metabolic rate will be. Okay, so basically that means if you build more muscle, you get to eat more. So it's a good motivation for you, right? But often when we do these scans, people will be like, oh my God, I'm not even eating that throughout the day, and they're training like crazy and then wondering why they're not losing weight. And there's a really specific reason for that. So does anyone have any questions about the scan that I've just gone through with you guys? All good? Okay, we'll keep moving along. So I'd like to hear first why you guys are here. So generally it comes under one of these or more of these categories. So who's here for weight loss or fat loss? Yep. What about energy? More energy? Yep. Anyone wanting to build more muscle or improve their athletic performance? So marathon. And anyone looking for more healthy aging or maintenance? Yep. Okay, great. So we're going to start with weight loss because that generally is the most popular one. So has anyone ever felt like this? So you've been eating healthy for 12 straight minutes and you're still fat, right? So often we will hear these types of phrases and people, they might have been doing it for a week and they're like, I don't see anything yet. And I'm like, well, it is about consistency. This is not like a quick fix, and if it is, it's not going to last. And that's what we've seen lots of different fads and stuff in the past few years, and it doesn't help anyone. In fact, mostly it damages people's metabolism. So, there's a statistic that 97% of people that go on a diet regain all of the weight plus 2 kilos after 2 years of being on the diet. So we're not about that. We want it to be consistent, something that you can do, frequently and get the results. So don't look at it as a short-term thing. We'll go into a bit of mindset soon. So I'll do anything to lose 10 kilos except eat healthy and work out. So that realistically is how simple it is. But we need to educate you guys on what eating healthy is, because I honestly believe the media and the education today is really skewed, and it's given people a really unhealthy view of what a healthy diet is. And it's restricting people's nutrition rather than, trying to feed them. And what about this one? Maybe serial killers are just regular people on a no-carb diet. Has anyone ever tried no carbs before? That's when the hangry comes out, right? And that's not, a carbohydrate's a macronutrient. So a macronutrient is an essential nutrient that you need in your diet. So we don't want you to cut any of those out. Like, it's about getting that balance and making sure that they're all in the right amounts. And what I think, though, is that, especially in Australia today, we've just mixed up the ratios of what our plate's supposed to look like. So often we're really heavy in carbs and meats and lighter on the vegetables when it should be the other way around. So what if I told you that eating healthy is actually eating normal? So I think a lot of people these days think that if I actually have been away for a couple of days, and I found it so hard to find healthy options to eat when we were out. I usually just have a cooler bag and take it with me everywhere, because I literally, to eat out, It's so hard, and it has become abnormal, right? And why do we have a health food oil at the supermarket? Shouldn't all food be healthy? And it's just crazy that this is the way that the world has become. So let's look at firstly like why diets don't work. So often there are really unrealistic expectations about results. So you might see super duper results from somebody, and then you try it and it's not the same. The reason for that is that everybody's bodies are different and everyone's metabolisms are different, so it's not a one size fits all. Diets also ask you to make short-term choices, so they do it for a certain amount of time. And whilst this is an 8-week challenge, the food guidelines are guidelines that you could follow indefinitely. So it's not asking you to seriously restrict calories, which a lot of diets do. It's asking you to eat a balanced diet and have a balanced meal plan. And also, when we restrict calories, which many diets do, we're restricting nutrients. So I want you to start thinking rather, don't count calories, count nutrients that are in your food. That's going to get you much better results than counting calories. And has anyone ever counted calories? It's exhausting, right? And you're thinking, oh my god, how many are these worth? Like, how many have I got left today? How many am I allowed to eat? Or even Weight Watchers points, like that type of mindset makes you obsessed with food, and you don't want to do that. Be focusing on it all the time. So when I say the word diet, what are some of the things that you think of? Lettuce? That looks appetizing, doesn't it?
The same thing.
The same thing. Yeah,
Boring.
repetitive.
All the time.
Yeah. Who's been on a diet before? Yeah, everybody? Like a serious diet? Yeah. Has anyone ever tried the soup diet?
No. The cabbage diet.
Yeah, cabbage diet, exactly. Right. So the problem with diets, in the sense that we're talking about them now, the word diet actually means the food that you eat, but we've come to believe that it means restricting and eliminating certain foods so then we can achieve a weight loss result. Now, what this does usually is it damages your metabolism. So your metabolism is the rate in which you burn calories in your body. So, and why people often gain back all the weight that they've put on plus 2 kilos is because they're damaging their metabolism. So what happens when you're not feeding your body enough food is your body goes into starvation mode. Okay, so when your body's in starvation mode or emergency mode, it wants to hold on to its most effective form of fuel, which is fat. So fat is like the big logs on a fire. So you've got your kindling, which is the little stuff that burns quite quick. They're more your carbohydrates, and especially like your sugary carbs and stuff like that. When you get to that long burning fuel, that's the fat. Okay, and that's the most effective form of fuel for your brain. So of course your body, when in emergency mode, wants to hold on to its most effective form of fuel because it thinks you're not going to feed it. So it holds on to your fat stores. Then guess what happens when you eat more and get the fuel in? What's it going to hold on to first? The fat, right? So it's going to keep storing fat. That's why the extra 2 kilos, right? So I need you guys to understand this, because when I was here doing some scans, I heard a few people say, oh great, now I don't get to eat for the next 8 weeks. And that really, it makes me really upset that people think that's how they've got to lose weight. Because it's doing the opposite. It's going to put their body in a worse position than where they start. If not now, later down the track, because it's really damaging the way that your body processes calories. So I want you to think of food as fuel. Okay, you need to fuel your body. You wouldn't run your car on fumes. And unfortunately, that's what a lot of people these days are doing when they're eating and training. So I want you guys to have a lifestyle mindset. So when you think of lifestyle, what are types of words that you think of?
Every day.
Every day. Long term? Yeah. That's what I want you to think about. And it's not just food. I really love this picture because it's talking about balance in all areas of your life. If there's money problems, then eating well is hard. If you're stressed, then what do people usually go to? Chocolate or wine or, whatever that vice is, right?
It's chocolate and wine.
Yeah, they can go together, or cheese. They all go together. So you need to have that balance in all of those areas. So please don't forget about the mind fitness when you're doing your 8-week challenge. It's just as important. So I know there's a couple of yoga classes on here. I've got a really great app. I'm getting off track from my thing, but it's called Insight Timer. It looks like one of those little bowls. It's a free app. Insight, so it's INSIGHT Timer. And it's a free meditation app. So first thing in the morning, I'll wake up and I always have my phone there, plug my earphones in because I wake up crack of dawn and everyone else is asleep. And I'll just do a 10 or 20 minute meditation and I can choose the one that suits me that day. If you're a nighttime person and have trouble going to sleep, there's actually a section called sleep. There's a section called mindfulness. There's one on chakras. There's all different topics. There's guided ones, there's music ones, there's beach sounds, whatever you want to listen to, it's all free on there. And it logs when you do that. So maybe one of your goals throughout your 8-week challenge, if you're a stressful person, like, everyone gets overwhelmed sometimes, but maybe it is to, 4 times a week do a 10-minute meditation and just switch your brain off for 10 minutes.
And how long? There are 10 minutes.
There's all different lengths. So there's 10 minutes there's 3 minutes right up to an hour. Like there's heaps of, and they're all free. So, and they get rated. So when people go and do them, they all get rated. So don't forget about that because it's a really important part of your fitness. And I think if you can feel in control of what's going on in your head, everything else is easier. It's easier to talk yourself into going to the gym. It's easier to talk yourself into eating healthy because you understand why. All right, so let's look at what does work. So we looked at diets and what doesn't work. So what does work? So sensible, balanced food choices. As I said, this is not going to be rocket science. This is literally as simple as it needs to be. And when I talk to my team about how to structure their plate, I don't like to talk in calories, so I don't want them counting. But what I tell them is half a plate of vegetables. So things like your broccoli and your beans and cauliflower, carrots. I'm going to go through your lists that you've got from Danielle. But then you want to have a quarter of the plate or a palm-sized piece of good protein. So it might be chicken or fish or steak, just a lean type of meat. Eggs are really great too. Is there any vegetarians in here? No? Okay. No cannibals, that's good. It's much easier when you do have meat to get your protein in. And then your complex carbs. So I would encourage you to steer clear of anything white. So white pasta. Basmati rice is the best of the white rices. It doesn't absorb water the same as the other rices. So if you're going to choose a white rice, choose basmati. But brown rice, quinoa, sweet potato, they're all really good forms because they're slow burning. So they're better for your blood sugar levels. If you have something white like pasta and white bread, it spikes your blood sugar levels. So then that affects the hormones in your body with insulin and stuff like that. So when you start looking at exactly how food works in your body, like you will not, you'll be spun out. And this is how I got to being where I am, because even things like a juice, like who's ever bought a juice thinking that's like a healthier option when you're out? Okay, so the difference between juice and soft drink, there are still some vitamins in juice, but the sugar content is really similar and they have a similar effect in the body. And the reason for that is when they juice fruit or juice vegetables, they take all the fibre out. So if you're eating an apple, it's different to juicing an apple. So the fibre actually slows down the sugar absorption in your body, right? So that's why it's okay. It's better to eat an apple than to drink the juice straight from an apple, because you're still getting the fibre to help it absorb.
So I do juices of the morning, like beetroot, apple, orange, celery, carrot. Is that like not a good?
What do you use to juice it? Is it a juicer or is it a blender?
One of the Breville, like I've had it for a few years. The one that does the apples whole.
So it would, and it gives you the pulp separate?
Yeah.
That's taking the fibre out.
Okay.
Yeah. So you would be better off using like a Ninja.
Yeah.
And putting the pieces in, so you're getting, like a NutriBullet, because then you're still getting the fibre in there. Yeah. Or if you're going to use your juicer, cut down on the fruit, which then doesn't taste as nice, but usually if you stick a banana in, bananas tend to play with the... You might be better off doing a green smoothie than a juice.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at types of protein. So all this stuff is on your Facebook page. Is everyone in the Facebook group? Yeah. So in the files section, does everyone know how to get into the files section? Okay. So in the Facebook page, when you're on a desktop, at the top there's a little tab and it says files. And in there you've got your workouts, and then there's these lists, and there's also nutrition guidelines. So make sure you go in and check them out. It's a really cool document. If you're on your phone, there's a little eye, like information icon. You click on that and then you'll be able to see files in there. Okay. So look, any of these lean meats, chicken, beef, lamb, turkey. I really love turkey mince. I use that for bolognese sauces and rissoles and meatballs and stuff like that. So it's giving you a guide with your serving size. So it's saying for females 3 serves daily, so 1 at each main meal. And they say the size of a deck of playing cards. I always think like palm size is a good way to remember. It's easy, not always having your deck of playing cards there for you to check out. If you're going to use tuna, choose one that doesn't have flavourings packed in with it. So I really love the olive oil tuna, and I just squeeze lemon juice straight onto it, so I know exactly what flavour is going in there.
So is there much difference between where it's saying spring water with the tincture and salmon? Because we eat a lot of tincture, but we get it in olive oil as well.
Mm-hmm. I drain the oil out. I can't eat it with spring water, so I'm going to be quite honest. I don't like the texture of it.
Yeah.
Olive oil is a good fat, and in your program, you're supposed to have a few tablespoons of olive oil, so I wouldn't stress about it. If you prefer it, and it's going to be easier for you to eat, go for it. Olive oil is a good oil to have. The quality of the olive oil they use in tuna may be the difference. But I usually drain it anyway, so I'm not eating all the oil, but still the texture is nicer, I think, when it's olive oil. But what I mean is just steer clear of the ones that already have flavouring in it. You're better off adding your own, so you know what's in there.
So you drain all the oil out of it?
Most of it, yeah. I still leave a little bit, so then I don't use salad dressing.
Yeah.
So my lunch yesterday literally was 2 tins of the tuna with lemon juice, and I had baby spinach, carrot, and cucumber and tomato.
Right.
And half a cup of basmati. That's my go-to.
What's tempeh?
It's a vegetarian person.
Soybean or something?
Yeah.
It's in the
Unless you're a
vegetarian
veggie,
section.
I would steer clear of soy products in general. Not a very large percentage are genetically modified, so unless you can find one that's GMO free, it's not good for our hormones. Okay, so types of vegetables. I'm not going to go through all of those, you guys are capable of reading, but when you're looking at, I'll give you a few tips though, when you're looking at lettuce, the darker the lettuce the better. I've stopped buying iceberg, basically got 0 nutritional content. Baby spinach is a really mild option, but lots more benefits, especially if you want to put it in a smoothie too. I put it in a chocolate shake and I can't even taste it. So if you're looking to boost your greens, that's a really good option. Wherever you can fit more vegetables in, just do it. Like, you can have unlimited amounts of those. So they're very low in calories. What I would warn you of doing is just having a salad or just having a plate of vegetables. Whilst, it may look like a lot, the calorie content's not great. There's great fibre and there's good vitamins, and the rawer you can have them, the better. But you still need those good carbs and you still need your protein. Otherwise, you're not fueling your muscles. And remember, we don't want to lose that muscle mass. We want to keep building that.
I saw that and they didn't have sweet potato. I was like, damn, that's so
Getting the
much
carbs,
sweet
isn't it?
potato. I don't know.
I think it
didn't
is.
notice.
So then you've got your fruits. So if you're aiming for weight loss, keep in mind that whilst fruits, they say 2/3 is great, they also have natural sugars. So you're going to have to burn the natural sugars off.
I'm surprised bananas are not there.
Bananas are one of the higher sugar fruits. But so are grapes.
I was surprised watermelon and grapes were there.
I generally, when I'm coaching my team, I ask them to minimise their fruit unless they really feel like it. Because I believe you've got to listen to your body and what it needs. So if you feel like fruit, then have a piece of fruit. Or if you've got a sweet tooth and you feel like you need sugar, then opt for this rather than reaching for the chocolate. But if you don't need it, I would stick with it.
Is there an issue with kale? Like, it's not on the vegetable list.
I just took it straight from their list. So I think kale is a superfood, so I would say go for it. Yeah. And tip with, do you eat much kale?
Yeah, the green smoothies and stuff.
Yeah. I never used to like kale. I used to find it really bitter. Then I found a recipe and it told me to massage the kale. And I was like, oh my god, I'm standing like massaging this kale, right? But it completely changed the flavour of it. It made it a lot sweeter. So, and you massage it until it changes colour. So you'll notice it goes from that really deep green to more vibrant, and it makes it sweeter. Yeah. That's the only way I can eat kale. I massage it first, right? I think just be mindful of the size too of your fruits that you're having. So I choose berries if I'm going to have fruit, and if I'm having it as a snack, I will have it with like Chobani plain yogurt. Then I'm getting the protein from the yogurt, and I'm flavouring it with the berries. And berries are quite high in antioxidants and lower in the sugar department. Okay, then you've got your good fats. Okay, so this is what I was saying about the tuna. So your flaxseed oil, olive oil, coconut oil. I love avocado. I have it most mornings. If I'm going to have eggs for breakfast, I'll always put quarter of an avocado on it. You need to get those good fats in. Good fats will help you reduce your visceral fat as well. Eating more good fats and reducing your saturated fats helps with visceral fat. So don't skimp on make sure you're getting these in. It's really important because we want your body to go, okay, I'm getting fuel, so it's okay for me to release those stores that I've saved up. Then you've got your whole grains. I'm not sure why sweet potato is not in there. I would put sweet potato. I wouldn't call that whole grains. I'd call that your good carbs, and put sweet potato in that. I'm a sweet potato fan. Yeah, that's my carb of choice. Like I'd prefer sweet potato over any of those. So look, brown or basmati rice, they've said. So what I usually do is half a cup. So I do half a cup at lunch, half a cup at dinner. If you're going to go for rice, they've said a cup. I suppose it depends on your energy needs and how hard you're training. You might need more because you're training for a half marathon than someone who's not doing that type of training. If you're doing more sedentary or more like lower impact training like yoga or something like that, you might not need as many carbs on that day. So your carb intake might change day to day depending on what you're doing. So if I'm not doing a heavy workout, I'll have one serve of carbs rather than having two. So you can play around with it. Okay, and then you've got your dairy. So if you're going to go for yogurt, Chobani, hands down, is the best option. Don't go for a flavoured one. Go for the plain. It's awesome. It took me probably a week to get used to it when I first started eating it, but I started with berries in it. So berries and some almonds crushed on top. Really yummy.
Passion fruit. Wait, is that one of the sweet ones that you should
The flavoured yogurt?
No, an actual passion fruit.
There you go.
Because I put the pulp in the yogurt.
Yeah,
flavour
that's
it.
fine. Yeah, better than getting one that's got flavours added into it. Yeah, and I use it for everything, Chobani. So I use it for sour cream on like Mexican food. I use it. I sometimes stew apples. So if I've got that sweet tooth going on, I'll just slice them, put them in water, no sugar, just stew them, and then put a big dollop of Chobani with crushed almonds on top, and it reminds me of apple crumble. Like there's things you can do to satisfy those cravings without cheating. Like that's not even cheating, that's still in your meal plan. You just got to get a little bit creative with it. Okay, and then they've got snacks. So I would encourage you, I know this is all like nuts and seeds, which are great. Nuts is awesome because they're protein. I want you to think about, instead of having protein at breakfast, lunch and dinner, you want to have protein 5 times throughout the day. You want protein at your morning tea and your afternoon tea as well. So whether that's a boiled egg on some crackers with tomato, or it's hummus with veggie sticks, you want to be trying to get that protein consistently. Your muscles need protein to build themselves throughout the day. So that doesn't only happen at those 3 times. So the more protein that you can have, the better. Okay. Okay, water. This is like, people usually freak out when I tell them how much water I drink every day. So I drink between 2 and 3 litres every day. How much water are you guys drinking at the moment?
That's so
Awesome. Yeah? Is that normal, or is that something you've had to work on?
less than 2.
Less than 2?
I
Yeah,
fill
but
up like
less than
700
I drink a
ml
few litres in team training.
Yeah, I know.
Work.
So it depends on how hard team training
At
is.
work, and then drink additional at home.
Mm-hmm.
How many times I need to
And then if I'm working out,
You got 2 more. Mm-hmm. So herbal tea, like peppermint or chamomile, will count towards that. I know in winter it's sometimes harder. I drink warm water.
Does regular tea not count towards it?
Okay, so black tea is quite acidic for your body. So it can affect the acidity level. And From what I've read, 1 cup of black tea, you need to drink about 8 glasses of water to get your acidity profile back to where it was. So if you can choose green tea or
I like
peppermint,
peppermint as well.
peppermint's awesome.
Really soft much.
What
Yeah.
about licorice tea?
Well, I don't. What type of tea is it? Licorice flavour tea?
No. From the licorice
From
tree.
licorice.
Yeah.
Better than black tea.
It's got quite a sweet aftertaste.
Mhm.
So that, like, when you go looking for a biscuit with a cup of tea,
Yeah.
you don't go looking for a biscuit with a cup of tea.
I can't say I've ever drunk it because I'm not a licorice fan. My mum drinks it.
No, it's not a flavoured tea. It's
Yeah.
like from the licorice tree.
Yeah. If there's no additives to it and it's more of a herbal thing, then go for it. Yeah, I can't see why not. So you can add lemon too if water's an issue. Just be careful of the enamel on your teeth. My mum went to the dentist years ago and she used to have lemon water every single morning, and he goes, "Do you drink heaps of soft drink?" And she's like, "No." "Heaps of juice?" "No." She goes, "I have lemon juice in my water every morning." He said it had eaten the enamel off her teeth like she was like a Coke drinker throughout the day. So just make sure you brush after you have lemon. Alright, so making sure you get enough sleep. Is everyone at least getting 7 hours of sleep? No? Okay. If you're not sleeping enough, that's the time when your body needs to repair. And again, if you're not getting enough sleep and allowing your body to repair, it's going to put it into that emergency mode. Okay, so it's
You
really
tell my body that. I'd love to sleep 7 hours.
So
It
is
doesn't
it
incorporate.
that you can't switch off, or is it?
No, I think since starting menopause, 4 o'clock in the morning is a good time to wake up, regardless of what time I go to bed.
Yeah.
Like a bird.
Maybe try
It's
the
ridiculous.
maybe at that time that can be the time you start trying your meditation, the sleep meditation, see what happens.
Can't hurt.
Yeah. Because that really is when your muscles start repairing, all your systems and your body reset while you're sleeping. So it's really important to get that in. Again, managing stress. So the next seminar that we have, I'm going to be talking a lot about stress, toxicity, and nutrient depletion of our food. So I'm not going to go into that in depth now because that will be the next one. But if you're really stressed, your hormones in your body are all out of whack. And again, it's preparing for fight or flight response, which is you holding on to those fat stores. And, you know, cutting coffee, I know people usually freak out when I tell them that, but it will get you way better results. So if you're a coffee drinker, might be time to just give it a rest for 8 weeks and see how you feel. The first week is hard. I was a coffee drinker before I started my program. But now, because I love coffee, I've got a coffee machine in my kitchen, but it's not my crutch. I don't have to have it. Do you know what I mean? I have to have my coffee or I can't start my day. If that's you, then you need to cut it out. And you need to find a different way to fuel your body because you're using that as a band-aid. So, yeah, I would suggest that you do that. I had a lady post me on Instagram the other day when I told her that, and she said, "I've got to take my coffee away." Okay, so I am a massive advocate for supplementation, and that's how I got my results. It was a combination of clean eating and using supplements. Unfortunately, our food just doesn't have the nutrition that it did even 50 years ago. So using supplements to fill the gaps in your diet is a great way to make sure you're getting your nutritional requirements, especially when you're trying to implement a new lifestyle where you might be having foods that you're not used to. Maybe you are eating less. So it's really important to make sure you're having the right nutrients in your body. So that's an example of the shake that we use called the Isoline shake, and that's what you need to eat in order to get the same nutrition that's in that. So my kids have one of those every morning for breakfast. I cannot get that nutrition into a cereal bowl or on a piece of toast for them. So I'm really happy for them to have that each morning. Intermittent fasting is also part of the program that I've been doing for the past 4.5 years. CSIRO have just come out a few weeks ago with their study on intermittent fasting and how it's beneficial for weight loss and maintaining a healthy body weight, also for brain function. So I would encourage you to read that. Intermittent fasting can be done in a few different ways, so it doesn't have to be that you don't eat for 2 days. Our program is supported fasting, the one that we do. Some people like to do the 8-16. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. So you eat within an 8-hour window in the day, and then you have 16 hours each day where you don't eat. So it's a smaller window when you're eating. I find it challenging, so I don't do that, but I prefer to do lower calorie days once or twice a week. So there's different ways that you can do it, but I would really encourage you to go on and read that study, because it's also great for visceral fat. So visceral fat is that really dangerous fat we have around our organs. It causes all your nasty lifestyle diseases, and that's why I focus on it when I'm talking about your scans. So between 1 and 9 is what we want them on your scans, but the lower the better that we can get that, okay? So the role of visceral fat, it does have a function in our body, and that's why we have it. So it is actually there to protect our body from toxins, and we're exposed to toxins everywhere. Air we breathe, water we drink, all the products we put on our skin, we're basically overloading our body. So when we can't get rid of all of those, what our body does is it covers them up in fat. Alright, so it can't touch our organs. So it's really, it's quite miraculous that our body does that. It has this protective mechanism, but your body will not let go of that visceral fat if you don't help get rid of those toxins. And they're not easy to get rid of sometimes. So you've got water-soluble toxins, so if you drink lots of water, they basically get flushed out. Fat-soluble toxins, which are the ones that are stored in those fat cells, so they're harder to get rid of. And then you've got heavy metals. So the greens are really great for helping drag heavy metals out of your system, so the more greens you can have, the better. Also green supplements are really good, like super greens. They don't taste great, but if you're not having enough greens, they're a really great way to assist your body's natural detoxification systems. So I wanted to show you guys some examples of, these are some of the people that we've coached, and there's different ways that you can use nutrition. So obviously Sam at the top has completely different goals to Cass down the bottom. So and these guys all used healthy eating, intermittent fasting and supplementation. So I want to show you guys this because you can do this, and I think sometimes we forget to show success stories, and I want you guys to stay on track for the next 8 weeks. This is your time to really get things on track and get things moving and start to see some results. And you might not get to where you want to be at the end of 8 weeks, but you will be further than what you were when you first started. Okay. So the next one we wanted to look at was energy. So firstly I want to look at Band-Aids. So is anyone like a afternoon sugar, head for the cookie jar type person, or the mid-afternoon coffee or energy drinks, that type of thing? They're Band-Aids and they're not helping you. Okay, so that indicates that there's a missing link in the food that you're putting into your body. So it might be that you're not having enough carbohydrates, or you're not eating frequently enough. Do you guys eat every 2 to 3 hours? Okay.
I go in the morning, like have breakfast, then a muesli bar, then lunch. So that's every 2 hours. But then nothing till I get home, and then I binge.
Okay, so well, that's a perfect example, right? Yeah. So what I want you to focus on is feeding your muscles or fueling your body every 2 to 3 hours. And we want to have some proteins, some good carbs, and some good fats when you're doing that. Okay, so it would look like breakfast, morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea, dinner. That's how our day should look. And it doesn't need to be complex. If you're not hungry, and some people say to me, but I'm not hungry in the morning, like after breakfast, just have like 10 almonds. 10 raw almonds is enough to keep your metabolism going. You're getting good fats and you're getting proteins when you're having your almonds. Okay? So just have something. Now cravings. I wanted to touch on cravings because sometimes I really feel that craving is there for a reason. So often I'll crave carbs. I have a health condition, so we found out what my health scare was about 6 months after that photo. I found out that I have MS. So and that was the push for me to really start making those changes. But some days my energy dips. So if anyone's familiar with MS, fatigue is a massive factor with multiple sclerosis. So those days I'm just like a carb fiend. Like I just want to eat